Hey everybody, welcome back to The Infected. It's Shadow Slayer here. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of science, I think. Last season we went for... We tried to get all the tech. Oh my. Last season we went for all the tech, which we did. And now, this season, I think what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and figure out just how to optimally use all these extractors. Because we have several. Wow, so much stone. Oh, we're chalker. Anyway, we're going to try and science the hell out of this. And what I mean by that is, last season we established that you could run a mineral extractor in the desert and set it to only extract oil shale. Which is fine, don't get me wrong. That is very useful information to have. However, we are likely going to want to do just a little bit better if we're trying to optimize our production and everything else. So, we are going to attempt, first and foremost, we're going to see if we can make the extractors we have here in the base only spit out fragments. And if this works, it's going to be, I think, pretty close to what we did with the... there we go. It's going to be pretty close to what we did with the oil extractors last season. Now, last season, we filled half of the extractor with... Thank you. We filled half the extractor with oil shale and the other half with stone. And we split them into single stacks and just let it run, which did yield a fair amount of oil shale, to be fair. So now we're going to try and science the absolute hell out of this, and we're going to try and see if we can get these extractors to spit out only fragments. And we are going to take enough stuff to the desert to build another extractor. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if in the base here, these extractors play by the same rules. Hopefully they do. We are going to set absolutely all the extractors to the same parameters. None of them are going to be doing only stone. I need 2 more fragments. There's 1. Wait. Yeah, we're going to need these. Right. So if you'll remember, we turned it on and it did produce only oil shale, and the reason for that, I think, and this is just speculation because I didn't program the game, but I'm pretty sure the way it works is every X time it will spit out 1 resource as long as there is room in the extractor. Now the caveat there is theoretically if all the slots are full that it just wouldn't spit out anything. However, oil shale, sandstone, and iron fragments all stack, which means there is room technically in the extractor only if you're putting in iron fragments. So the way the game reads it, unless I greatly miss my mark, is we can put stuff in here but only if it's this. Well, I just produced a resource, so I have to make it this because it's the only thing that I can put in there. And I have to put something in, right? If I'm right, that means we can manipulate sandstone, iron fragments, and oil shale by simply filling up the box with only those items. Now, iron fragments, as we know, stack in lots of 5. So they will obviously generate at a slightly slower rate than if we were to... We need to make sure that this is generating power. Freezers are on. Lovely. So, that means that we can force them to produce shale, sandstone, and sandstone and fragments by simply putting a 1 stack in every slot. Now that will slightly chokehold the iron fragments if we're not paying attention. However, it's not going to destroy our efforts if we fill up. It's still going to take a very long time to make that a reality. It's going to take a long time to fill up 80 slots, I think it is, for all of these. So we're going to science the hell out of this. And at the end of it, we're going to find out whether you can force all those different resources just by filling the slots. So these 2 are going to be our control. These ones are going to extract anything at all, just to give us an idea of how many things have been produced. They should be going at the same rate. Now, if I'm right, if my theory holds, we'll come back and there will be extra fragments in here, equal to the number of things that are produced in these two. We're running 2 different extractors, so that if it is random, they'll hopefully have different numbers. If it's not random and it needs to produce something, we'll find that out too, because we'll have extra fragments equal to the number of things that would have been produced. And they are all on 5-minute timers. That'll be fine. What do we need for extractors? Because that's going to be another thing too. So iron, 18, 8 planks, and 8 nails. I'm thinking we're probably going to want a stack of nails. We're going to want, I'm seeing at least 3 extractors. So that's actually going to be a huge amount of iron. But take all that. Heard the combat music. We're just going to try and stay as much behind the spikes as we can. If we get bum rushed by a group of infected right now, we are screwed. So let's try not to have that happen. 20 pounds on those bones. Alright, we're going to set the extractors up the same way. Unfortunately, we have 0 sandstone, so we're not quite going to be able to do that. However, we can probably set up a sandstone extractor once we get a sandstone. You know what? We'll put those in the boxes. There we go. We're just actually going to keep hanging on to those. Craft as many steel as we can. There we go. We need to put our fishing hooks away, fish bait, and screws, which goes in faster. Take a couple of these. 6 iron. 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is almost an entire extractor right there. Put all you in there. We can get sticks on site. Rope is going to be a lot harder. Everything else can go back in the boxes. Medical, animal bits. Oil goes down there. Now, of course, the whole purpose here is that we want to have the oil extraction out in the desert so that whenever we go to the trader, look, it's already produced 1, and well, let's hope that holds. Because if it does hold, it looks good for the theory. Alright, iron bars. We have 16 available. 4, 6, 8. That'll make 16, so we have 15 available. Then we need 18. I'm really, you know what? Oh my god, it's so heavy. This will give us 40 more. There we go. That'll give us 40 iron bars. We have 15, that's 55. Which is 1 more than we'll need. Awesome. I don't often cook iron ore like that, but I'll take it. Now we need 8 planks per, that's 24. And those should fit beautifully in this box here. Perfect. And let's just double check. No mechanical parts required. I feel like they used to require mechanical parts, but we come back because it'll be faster. Alright. 20, 30, 3, 8, 54. Alright. That should be everything we need for those. The only other thing I'm going to grab is an absolute ton of planks, because while, yes, it is true, we do not necessarily need to build a shack to house them in, I would rather do so. And to be clear, the shack is not going to be anything stupid fancy. It's just going to be a basic shack that will allow us to keep our refinery protected, kind of like we did last season. Except this season, we are going absolutely ham with bringing materials with us. I think I'm going to put a real roof on it this time, just because that seems like a better idea. And for that, we are going to need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll take 10 stacks of clay and some glass. It's going to weight us down a bit, but it'll be alright. This will be the last group of batch of supplies that we're going to grab. And then I want to make sure that we have, because I'm pretty sure we had a quest that we were doing. I want to make sure that we have everything for that. And then we'll just do one giant loop. And at the end of it, we will see exactly how many resources were produced. And when I record episodes, I usually record between an hour and an hour and a half. There are occasions where it goes longer, but that's a pretty normal time. I'm not timing this, but I figure that'll probably take us most of the episode today. We're just going to go and get our oil production up and running. And we'll just throw the bills in here. We'll move all of those, throw those in there. Yeah, sure, we'll throw a stack of clay in there. Alright, so what job were we on? Jobs journal. 10 Kevlar, 35 bone shard. Oh, Jesus. No, we can get all of that right now. Alright. Or at least I'm pretty sure we can. Ah. Some more shale. So, 10 Kevlar, 35 bone shards. 5 bone shards. 11, so 21 aloe. Medical. 21 aloe. Just make sure we got the number right. Yep. And 11 oil cans. I think that might actually be the stack that we have in the box right now. See, this isn't so bad. I'm actually super... There we go. That is our quest right there. So, off we go. This will be fun. Now remember, the purpose is to determine whether we can force certain resources, because part of the reason you need so many extractors most of the time is because they're kind of random. There's no rhyme or reason to them. However, if we can force it to produce iron fragments all the time, that means extractors become a lot more useful, right? And it also means that theoretically, you could bypass the stone crusher altogether. You wouldn't need one. And that's kind of a big deal, because normally in order to get a decent amount of iron fragments relatively quickly, you just run a stone crusher and there you go. Don't get me wrong, stone crusher is still a great way to do it, but you could do it with 2 or 3 extractors extracting only iron fragments, and you'd be just fine. You wouldn't have any problem. Coming up on our little patch of desert. There we go. This will work just beautifully. Nice and flat. Alright, let's go ahead and slap down some foundations. And I don't feel like having to go super far into the desert, so we're just gonna do that. And I'm seeing a 3x4 building being just ducky. Alright. Now, of course, we are going to need logs, which is fine. Let's get a few of these boards here. Walls, we're getting company. 20, 24. Go. Now, all that work and we still didn't make it. Well, it's whatever. Alright, we're going to need to make some saw benches here, I think. That's okay. We'll put them over here. We got cucumber. Sweet. We're going to put the saw bench. Dude, sweet. So in case you are wondering what I'm doing and you're not quite sure if I've lost my mind, I have not yet. So what we're doing, where's the stairs? There we go. Smooth. Flat wooden ramp. Sweet. Is this as efficient as the circular saw benches? No, hell no. However, it's way faster. Okay? Way faster. I don't have to mess around with worrying about, do I have the cobalt? Do I have... Nah. And we put a cart down. What do we need for a cart? It's 10 nails, right? So the advantage to having a cart here is now it will permanently be marked on the map just for building the thing I needed to build to begin with. And it will allow me to gather a lot of logs much quicker. Of course, it only does that if I actually remember to grab the damn cart. Oh my god, I remembered what I was getting at. Like I said, it's a lazy Susan. So, if you weren't aware of what I'm doing here, because I keep tearing up, building them, putting down these ghosts, and then killing the... You only need these particular platforms until you get these walls up. And then you can rip out the foundations and leave it at that, which is exactly what I'm doing. It saves... It does take a few extra logs, sort of, but it actually saves you some time later, especially if you're doing it as you go, because you just need to place the ghosts down. You don't need to worry about having all the materials put in there and building the walls first. You just have to have the ghosts down, and then you can add the materials to the ghost images. I don't know if the Vambies can hear us chopping wood over here. I don't really, I don't truly care, but let's just throw this on the first bench that clears. We're going to move this over a little closer, because I don't like how close these Vambies are coming. I'm not super worried about it, but that doesn't mean I'm not being vigilant, because realistically, if they drift too close, they are not always known for emitting the howls that they should, and that would be awfully unfortunate. So, you see how we have the walls and stuff? What we're going to do is we're going to build the skirting, or we're going to lay out the skirting. Walls, thank you, just like that. And then we're going to... I am not going to worry about fences for this particular location, because they aren't going to matter. Not truly, anyway. We're not going to be here enough to really worry about needing defenses. It's not like we're going to get raided here, or at least we shouldn't, because again, we're not going to be here long enough for that. So now we go through, and just like that, right? Rip that out, throw those up there. Those. We are going to need some logs, but not right away. What we are going to do is we're going to throw down our actual extractors. So, mineral extractor, and we should really only need 3 of these. We shouldn't really need more than that. We are not going to be putting the oil extractors themselves, or the extractors. We're going to put those in our base. Or it. We're not going to build more than one of them. We don't need more than one. At least not really. Let's go get our extractor materials. Oh, we have our nails. That's our first batch of ore. There we go. Now we just need our ore. And now it's just that one batch of iron. Okay, should have had more iron in here. So there we go. That's probably... There we go. That should be perfect. Like a glove. So, now we need to grab our oil shale. How are we cold? Summer. This is bad. We are going to have to return to base. I think I may just decide to grab some planks from the base here. I'll make up a quick batch of them. The electric saw benches will make easy work of it. Oh hell. So we'll make up a batch of planks. We'll rest. Close. Thank you. Why not? I don't have a campfire in here anymore. I'm gonna have to build a fucking furnace. So look at that. We are generating nothing but... Oh, hang on now. Oh, we can't even see that. Look at this. We've only gotten 4 fragments. But we've got a lot more than that. So no, this doesn't work. It doesn't force it to produce only iron ingots. See? Because we've gotten 4 fragments so far. And it's about what everybody else is producing too. Yep, nope. So that's bogus. Don't do it. So with the fragments, I would say it's not worth it. Well, I'm just going to drop this stuff in here. I would almost say it could be worth it in the case of the oil, because you're not sorting through stones all the time. But even then, I don't think it's necessarily worth missing out on the sandstone necessarily, unless you're not ever going to use the sandstone. So just make sure you check them regularly, guys. And unfortunately, it looks like there is no way to manipulate it like that. That's why we did the control thing, though. Alright, so having learned that, that's kind of a bummer, but alright. So it looks like the rock crusher may be the way to go in terms of refining iron fragments as well as sand. Sand is whatever, you get 10 sand for every rock, or every 2 rocks, I guess. But, so, unfortunately, didn't work. Would have been cool, but didn't work. And that's okay. Doesn't have to. Let's just go ahead and throw a couple more logs on the saw benches. Where'd my logs go? Did I park the damn cart on top of them? Skirting's all done. It looks like the ceilings won't have to be built up another section, so that's good. There we go. It's not a lot, but it'll get us where we need to go. Now we need clay. Nope, we're out of clay. But we're doing alright. We got a couple sections of roof up. Holy cow, it's already taken us over an hour. We're almost out of time now. We'll actually... Where's that fuel? Now the lovely part about this is once we start it going, and we have the oil pump, we will absolutely have all the fuel we'll ever need to keep these running forever. So once we have the oil pump, it won't matter. We'll get more than enough. So the thing about the oil refining in this game is it's actually really labor intensive. Like, you got to do a lot to get it. You have to build extractors in the desert. You have to then refine... Oh, I have my stuff already. Never mind. I could do that, but I don't want to. This one we can absolutely do. We'll take this one. The 1 tech point is whatever. We have all the tech we need. But the 277 coins, that's going to be important. And that gives us 1,000. Let's see what we can do with that, if anything. I want that. Although I'm not going to lie, if we have gasoline unlocked, which we do, choices, guys, and this is where it matters, because we got to do at least 4 jobs like the one that we already have in order to even come close to this. That's not so bad. That's easy. We have the 15 Kevlar. Fire is no issue at all, right? Lead ingots, we got that. Like, the hardest part of that is the lead ingots. Oop, look, there's a Kevlar. One less Kevlar we have to gather. You can, hey, I want to give you your own Kevlar to help complete my quest. So silly. The most difficult part of that is the lead ingots, which we will have to go to our cave, oh no, and retrieve some lead ingots, or some lead ore, so that we can get some, and I think we might actually have some lead ingots at home, I don't know, but that was the wrong direction, because we should not be crossing the river. So I feel like money is going to be less, and at the same time more of an issue with the tweaks. Now, we could build gas generators, we could do that, but there's not really a whole lot of point to that if we can push for the water wheel. But I will say that the water wheel is going to be a little further out of people's reach at this point. Although, having discovered that we can, in fact, make aluminum cans, we may want to keep that in mind as well, because we could make coffee, which is 3 coins per brew. Where are we at? The last time I think we turned right there. Oh, sorry, sir. Didn't see ya. So, you know what? He's dead, guys. He's sleeping now. He's taking the forever nap. Oh no, we didn't clear out. Oh, feels bad. Is this one turned on? Yes. I feel like hunger might be a legitimate issue in this game now. I do not remember ever getting so hungry in this game. It's freaking me out, man. I think that's going to do it for us for today, guys. It's getting late, at least where I am. We're going to go back to it next time. We're going to work on trying to get those roof tiles put up and a door. And then we're going to go back to the city and we're going to do some more looting. And generally just try and finish up the rest of what we got. To be honest, I don't think there's really too much for us at this point. It feels like the build is pretty much done. We have everything that we need to survive. We have most of the tech, most of the furniture and stuff that we would need. And we even got the new freezer, which is working pretty good, but it's really power intensive. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. Well, it might be tempting to push for that early. I am thinking that is very much a post-water wheel tech. I would not recommend buying it before getting either the water wheel or the gas generator. And whichever one of those two you choose, you probably want to stick with those. I like the water wheel because it doesn't take another resource to get the energy, right? It does take a little bit more resources, I think, though. I'm pretty sure that gas generators. So I would not recommend getting the freezer before you can throw up large power generation. So we're talking either mad amounts of windmills and solar panels or mad amounts of water wheels. But that's going to do it for us for today, guys. So we'll see you in the next episode where we probably finish up most of the build. Maybe even throw it. Well, suppose we could buy the elevator now. Awfully big power drain, but we could do it. But we'll see you next time. And until then, you take care. And you don't let the Vambies bite. Have a good one.